Hi everyone. Welcome to our podcast 101. This is a very spontaneous podcast because we did not actually plan to have a podcast, but over the few days we have been talking a lot, especially in terms of our experience and our reflection from this journey. And we thought that it would be nice to tape it so that people can maybe find it useful, especially for students who are aspiring to participate in Jessup in the subsequent years, and they might find it as a resourceful video. And on the other hand, it's just nice to talk about our experience, and for those people who might be interested to know about our experience, they can just watch this podcast. So yeah, that's why we decided to have this podcast, and nothing special. We don't have any mic, any special cameras. It's just like a homemade podcast.
No drinks.
Yes, no drinks and no sponsors. So also we do not have a fixed format in terms of how we want to proceed with this podcast. So it's kept very open so that we have an open dialogue, and it's more of a personal sharing of personal experiences rather than a professional podcast. So how do you guys want to start? So maybe should I ask you all to briefly talk about your experience so far in DC? I think this is our 11th day in DC. So how has it been so far for you guys? So maybe we'll start from Emma.
Okay, so because I flew in from Singapore, the immigration. I'll first start with the immigration there. So I was asked a little bit more questions compared to the rest of my friends here. So I was quite nervous about it. Then I finally met them, and then we came here to our Airbnb and we started preparing for our moot court competition. And I'd say we were well prepared given the amount of months that we've been learning and prepping for. So we had our preliminary rounds, and honestly, I'm sure individually each one of us felt it went well, but things happen. So I think and we also did some sightseeing, which was very fun. We went to the tidal basin, there was cherry blossoms, and yeah, all in all it was very nice here, and the competition wasn't it didn't really stress us out. Of course we were stressed, but then I guess it was a good experience here.
I think that's a wrap up for the broadcast because she literally talked about everything in one go. But maybe we'll hear from Dishan. Maybe just summing up your experience so far.
My experience about this whole thing about Jessup began in Bhutan. I would say we were preparing for this competition since September, and we met and we even stayed together during the vacation in order to prepare for it. And that experience for me was very eye-opening in the sense that I've never lived with other people aside from my family and of course my friends at college, but living with seniors and even a faculty member, and then
so we had other people.
Yeah, other people. Not like that. It's my first time living with people that were not related to me, and it was quite a good experience because you just learn a lot more about your day-to-day life, like maybe cooking in the just like day-to-day things. I think I learned a lot in that sense as well. But overall, I think during that time we created a very good bond, and I feel like all my seniors, all of you feel like siblings to me now, like cousins. It felt like that. And coming to DC was like a dream. Like even before that, going to Delhi to process our visa, I think I had a lot of fun there.
Such a good time.
Yeah, it was such a good time. Machnukatsila, I loved Machnukatsila. And yeah, and when we came to DC, I think it was totally different. Like the bus here is different. Like taking the metro is a new experience for me, and even the
Was it your first time taking metro?
Yes, yes, I think so. But I have taken bus, paying with the smart card and stuff
not
like
in the
that,
metro.
but not in the metro. Yeah, and it was a good experience. And even the cherry blossoms. I think was it the second day that we reached?
Yes, I think it was the second day.
Yeah, so we went to the tidal basin, and it was beautiful. I think it was when the cherry blossoms were in season, and it was amazing. I felt like I was in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like that, like Tokyo's in there. And yeah, it was a very. Now moving on to the competition actually. So the competition was something I did not really imagine. Like I did watch vlogs and I did hear from a lot of seniors about the experiences, but it was like really out of my mind. Like it was on another level. I think it's because it's the international rounds. All of the teams are very strong.
Mm-hmm.
They are like, it's not that we weren't prepared. It's like we were equally prepared, and everybody had equally prepared hard. And because it's the international rounds, I think each and every team that we faced were very strong in their own skills and suits. And it was a very good learning experience for me because it's my first time ever doing the Jessup, and seeing such talented and intelligent and hardworking people, it was really inspiring, and I could learn a lot. It was really amazing.
Yeah. We'll talk more about the competition aspect later,
Mm-hmm.
but thanks for giving a heads up about it as well.
Mhm.
So maybe no, he's the only guy in the team, apart from me, who is the advisor. So how do you think, how do you feel having lived 11 days of your life in Washington, D.C.?
So my experience in DC, although it's like I think it's the four of us first time in the United States, and Sir has been here before. I feel like DC is completely different from what you'd expect.
Mhm.
From what I've seen in like the vlogs that the Jessup team made the year before, it was like it seemed different. It felt
Yeah.
different.
In what sense? What sense did your expectations meet coming here?
It felt more posh in these videos. Like there were all these fancy videos of these fancy houses and stuff like that. So it did feel different. But like then coming here, like, it's not that different, but like it's a bit different from how you expected. And of course, it's beautiful in its own ways. And then like Sir took us to a lot of like the monuments: Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial, the Tidal Basin. So every part of it was fun, and it was like such good exposure. And then I'd like to tell the other future Jessupers as well, like don't think this competition it is a big deal, but don't think it's like don't put the weight of the world on your shoulders, and don't think that okay, you might die if you don't win or if you don't do well. Instead, like I think try to enjoy it, because I found that at the end when you're actually doing the rounds, although Sir said we talk about the competition later, so when you're doing the rounds, you actually have fun sometimes when the judges ask you some questions, and then you know these questions, and you're trying to conversate with the judge. Then the judge also like sometimes he nods at you, he smiles at you, or he asks you a different question which you want to answer in another way that you have, and you're approaching this question. And since you're already studying law, you must have that passion of answering these things. So then you get really excited.
Mm-hmm.
And although you shouldn't get too excited, it's still fun in its own way. So don't get too caught up in the stress and the work of it. Just try to enjoy it, like actually enjoy it. And then DC in itself is a very wonderful experience, and the scenery here is like it's way too beautiful. And then compared to Bhutan, which like as I always say, Bhutan is like 360p, and then like when you come to DC, it's more like 1080. The quality improves, but of course I'm not saying anything bad about Bhutan. Bhutan, of course, I love Bhutan. I'd go back to Bhutan right now if I could. But still, like coming to DC has been a very wonderful experience, and I think it's not just because of DC, but it's because of the people that I've come here with, and of course because Sir is here and he took us to all these sites which we wouldn't have seen if we came by ourselves, and we wouldn't have even known to take the bus or the metro, which I think was like another plus point. So I think all in all it was a very good experience, and I definitely want to do it again.
I think for Achoo, the most exciting part would have been seeing the different cars. Cybertruck, Tesla, and he was quite excited.
Many different cars that we do not get to see
In Bhutan.
often in Bhutan. What about you, Sangeet?
So regarding me, not only my stay here in DC, but the whole Jessup journey itself is a huge, I would say, achievement in my life. So it was a huge step for me to even join Jessup, like compete for Jessup. And I'm very happy and grateful that I got in the team and I get to experience all these different experiences. So for me, again, not only in DC, but traveling to India itself was also a huge opportunity for me because it was my first time traveling in plane. And I'm thankful to Sir as well as Ajim for providing me the window seat during my first flight. And so it was, I would say, the Jessup journey for me was a mix of stress, anxiety, fun, laughter, all in one. So it was a whole package. And for the past 11 days in DC, I would say it is really, as Dashin said, an eye-opening experience for me as well. Because I got to see a lot of locations that I only saw in television, especially the White House. And I know that when I get back, my friends would be asking, did you see Donald Trump? Did you meet Donald Trump? So, but
Which we didn't.
yeah. So,
But we saw the White House.
yes.
We saw the White
So-
House. Yeah.
Visiting lots of places, eating foods that I did not eat before.
Buying
So it
a lot
was
of shirts. Buying a lot of shirts.
yes. So I did buy a lot of stuff for myself here in DC. So overall, I would say that it was a really enjoyable experience for me.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know your experience so far, and also some of you already touched about the competition aspect of our journey here. So just to give you all, if you are watching, a context of which teams we went against for the preliminary rounds. So if you know about Jessup, for the preliminary rounds we get 4 matches, 2 for the applicants and 2 for the respondents. So our first match was against a team from Ukraine, and they were the runners-up from the Ukraine national rounds. And the second match was against the runners-up team from United Kingdom, the Honorable Society of Inner Temple. And the third match was from the they were the winning team of Chile national rounds. And then the fourth and last match was the Zimbabwe. They were the national winners of Zimbabwe. So these were the 4 matches we went against. So I'm going to ask them to share their experience in terms of what they felt about their performance in these matches. So anyone who wants to go first can just speak.
Maybe I should start. So before, so the first match against Ukraine was with the respondents, and I was like an observer behind. So when I watched that match, I realized how hot the judges can be. Like, it was a very hot bench. The judges were throwing questions back to back,
And I think that was the hottest bench I've ever seen from the international rounds. It was on another level.
Yes, and all of them asked really questions that were answerable, but they asked it in a way that really could attack you, in the sense your composure. You could lose your composure anytime. But I think both the teams handled it very well. And when we went up against the Honorable Society for the Inner Temple, because we were applicants, we can only see them performing after we're done. So I think my personal performance was, I tried to give my best. So I'm hoping that it was one of my best performances. However, I feel like there's a lot of improvement. There's always room for improvement. And if I ever get the chance to do Jessup again, I really want to focus on my question-answer section of my submissions. I really want to be able to answer in a way that would tie my submissions to it and have a good flow. Regardless of that, I think the opponents they were really strong, especially because there was the best oralist from the UK national rounds. I think she did amazing. And also regarding the Chile team, I think the Chile team was very good regarding their arguments. I think their arguments were one of the best. It was easy to follow, and I think watching other teams perform, it was
Of the 2 matches that you went against, which one do you think was easier? Which you felt was easier for you to defeat? Although we don't know whether we defeated them or not, but just your perception of it.
maybe Zimbabwe. I think they had good arguments as well. Everybody we met through the preliminary rounds, especially the team from Zimbabwe, I think they were very sweet. And we even met them near.
We kept bumping into them, their team, multiple times.
Yeah, they were very sweet, and they were. I think everybody that we met through Jessup, they're all very sweet and they're all very friendly.
and it was really nice experience.
What about you, Pima?
So as the Chen already said, the first match we had, oh my god, I think it was, the bench was very hot. The judges had a lot of experiences, and the president was, the presiding judge was, she also drafted the mood problem in the previous year, so she was very experienced. So like Deshan said, their questions were very answerable, but the way they framed it, even if you said something which had legal and factual backing, they would say, no, I don't buy it. So they really wanted to, see our composure, how we dealt with the questions. So the bench was very, very hard. I actually got very scared and nervous too during that time. So, but then the applicants also had a very hard time, because I felt like the first applicant could not even, get her submissions, could not even submit properly in front of the judges.
Especially her, because
Yeah.
she was the first to go,
Yeah.
and it was only when she started pleading that we knew that it was
Yeah.
it was going to be a hot bench.
Hot
And at least for us, being the respondent, we had like few minutes
Yeah.
to prepare and to actually
Let
let
it
that
sink
sink in
in,
that
yeah.
okay, that's going to be a hot bench. So
So, oh my god, the bench. But then the second match we had with Chile, the bench was quite nice, considerable compared to the first bench. They did ask good questions, and they did ask questions that would lead us or tie us into our arguments. But
oh, yeah, also when we see that the bench for the match against Chile was considerable, doesn't mean that the bench for the first match they were terrible, right?
Oh, yeah,
It's their style of doing
Style,
it, and
exactly.
every judge
yeah.
has their own style of doing it. And some people are really cold bench whereby they don't even ask questions, which sometimes is also very boring
Mhm.
and does not spark
Yeah.
anything in you. So
And
it's really
that's-
subjective, and
Yeah.
I think they're right in their own ways. So we
Yeah.
can't say this is
Yeah.
better than this,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have to adapt to their style
Exactly.
accordingly. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the judges were very, very sweet after
and after the round.
Yeah,
Yeah,
after
all
the
of them
rounds,
were
they were
very
sweet,
sweet.
and but then during the rounds,
They'll grill you.
yeah, they literally grill you.
What about now? Which match do you think was the most fun for you?
So I think I enjoyed the match against United Kingdom that we had.
Mhm.
So I think it was in that match where the judges, they were, of course, they seemed like they were trying to intimidate me, but then like as I progressed through my arguments,
Mhm.
and then I think they thought that maybe I was a bit confident, so they started asking questions, and then I started answering them, and then when they ask you more questions, it feels more exciting, and the more you try to answer their questions, and the more doubts they have, which you have already like searched up on, and okay, if he asks this question, I'll answer with this. If he asks this, I'll answer with this. So then I had like a lot of those backed up. So then like by progressing through my arguments and then linking them back, I felt like the judges were also like, sometimes they don't want to show it, but they were nodding along. And then one of the judges I caught nodding, so then it made me feel like a bit excited to see that I was actually conversating with these judges, and that what I was saying actually made sense. So in a way, of course, like, when you go into the Jessup, like most of the time you feel incompetent. You feel like, okay, your arguments are not up to par, and you don't have the bench memorial, neither do you have any other source or any answer to this question. So you question yourself a lot. So then you think, okay, maybe your arguments are wrong, maybe there's other law proving you otherwise. So then it's only in these oral rounds against these judges that you know that, okay, maybe you're heading down a logical path or a rational path, or maybe this is actually what it is according to international law. So then I felt like in that match, the judges were agreeing with me, and then as I was explaining my arguments or my submissions to them, they were also, like, it made sense to them. So I felt like that was one of my most exciting rounds where I had the most fun, compared to the match with Zimbabwe. So
So what went wrong with Zimbabwe? The match with Zimbabwe.
I think the judges didn't quite catch on to what I was trying to argue, and I feel like I can't blame the judges. Of course, everyone, it's a bit subjective in Jessup as well, since these judges, you can't expect them all to have this objective view of what these arguments should be. So I felt like I said my arguments the same way, but like these judges, they reciprocated my submissions or they took it in a different way. So they didn't quite get where I was going with one argument on one part of my submission. So they kept on badgering me with questions. So at that moment, I didn't show that I was taken aback, but from the inside, I was a bit irritated as to why are these judges like asking me about the same thing over and over again. I've explained it to them like 3 or 4 times by now, but then at the end of the round, when the judges they actually communicate with us and they tell us like, what we could improve upon, they were like, when a judge asks you more questions, it means like you're actually doing really well, and that they actually want to know more about it, so that they can actually assess you. So that made me feel a bit good, but then again, you never know how it goes, and then like, but at the end of the day, it's like having fun. So even in that round, like because they asked me such questions, like made me think about the question more, and then it made me answer in like different ways, and then sometimes you see different answers to the same problem when you look at it from a different person's view. Like for example, if you see a 6 and the upside down is the 9, like some sort of stuff like that. So I think these judges like really open up your eyes, as Desmond was saying. So like, seeing it from all perspectives is what Jessup's actually about. I think everyone has their own way of arguing, their own arguments, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's acknowledging that and then making sure that you do your best in your own way. That is like the most beneficial and the most efficient way to make any submissions in any international law scenario. So I felt like that was what I felt about the rounds that I had.
Okay, what about Sanjay?
Personally, I felt that we did better with Chile, or
Second match.
for me. Now, as a respondent, the major challenge that we faced, me and Ashim faced, was mirroring the applicant's submission. So we have to change the structuring of our arguments then and there after
According
we
to their
hear
submission.
it. So that was a bit challenging. So again, going against international teams, so first was Ukraine, then Chile, it was also very difficult to catch up with their arguments and adequately respond to them.
And then we went off script again.
Yes. And the reason why I'm saying that I felt that I did better with Chile is because I got to respond to their arguments, because the bench, as Ajim and Deshin said, were reasonable with regard to the questions that they asked, the number of questions that they asked. So we actually got to present what we wanted to say, what we wanted to respond. But for the first match, it was very hot. In fact, it was a burning bench, I would say. So they were throwing questions back to back, and we didn't even have the chance to respond to what the applicants said. So I think that I personally lost my composure a bit. So I was very intimidated by the questions asked by the judges, and more than being excited, I was like, please have mercy on me.
Also, you were the last one to teach, right? So you're the fourth one to go. So you know that the 3 people who went before you got roasted and grilled.
So you have this anticipation now. It's not really an anticipation. It's for sure that I'm going to get roasted, just like the 3 speakers, prior 3 speakers. Now that's a different level of pressure that I have as the last speaker. And I also remember Ajim writing on my paper, they are going to ask a lot of questions, and we did get asked a lot of questions. So, but however, I think that irrespective of the results, we did our best, because in the very beginning during our winter mood camp, we did argue on some points that were not really needed, or some points that were unreasonable at some point. But from that stage to having an argument structure that is on the same level as other teams internationally, I think that's a huge achievement on our part. So I think we've come a long way from where we started. So I think that matters at the end.
And also being able to go off script. I mean, a lot of teams were still carrying their script.
Yeah. So this year, one of the huge improvement that we were able to do for our team is that we went off script from, I think, around February itself, and that was very impressive. And like you said, like Emma said, even regardless of the substance of the arguments of our opponents, all of our opponents were, I wouldn't say heavily reliant on their script, but to some degree they were really reliant on their script, and sometimes they did not even know the exact paragraphs of the statement of aggregate facts, right? So, but for us, for all the 4 matches, we went scriptless, and that's very impressive. And we were actually having a conversation with the bench and not just like there to read our arguments. So that was very
Yeah.
impressive, and it's something that we will keep on doing for the subsequent years as well. Also, I wanted to ask, what difference did you all feel from the exhibition matches that we had in Delhi for the Indian qualifying rounds and the international rounds? And just as an information to our viewers, again, if you're still watching, Bhutan just has one law school, so we are the first and only law school, and we are a fairly new boutique law school, very small law school, and we do not have national rounds. So in February we went to process our visa in Delhi, and then we had the opportunity to have two matches, one for the applicant and the other one for the respondent, as an exhibition team there. So what difference did you all feel from the exhibition matches and the international rounds? Maybe like one of you can speak about it. Anyone?
I think it was totally different. In the exhibition matches that we did in India, I feel like the judges had the statement of agreed facts, but they weren't very closely associated with it. But in international rounds, I think the level of knowledge and the level of work that the judges do are the same as us, so they know about the issue as much as we do, and that is when the level of questions that they ask totally goes from here to here. Yeah, if you guys want to add up.
Anything to add?
Yes, totally different.
Well, I think what was different from the exhibition matches that we had and the international rounds was, of course, that our arguments substantively improved.
Yeah.
And then I feel like we were better as a team in DC as well. So although in India it was a bit relatively easy, I'm not saying anything bad about Indian judges. I'm pretty sure the Indian judges might have had their hands full as well, and then they were in fact really good judges. However, I think it was the initial point of the competition. So even these Indian teams were just they're getting the hang of their argument, and everyone was finally figuring out what the problem was actually about. So then I feel like the teams had then substantively improved from then, and then like when they come to TC, like they have all this experience boiled up, and then they have like new arguments and then like new evidences, new bases. So it changes a lot, and then like what happens in TC is, again, there's a lot of pressure, and then these judges are not just random judges as well. They have been involved with the Jessup for over like 10, 15 years.
And they've also done Jessup themselves, most of them, so they know all the loopholes and the gaps in terms of what the teams would do, right, to skip questions and skip arguments.
Yeah.
Also, I think because we do not have the national rounds, being the only law school, although that is an advantage in itself because we're able to come directly to DC for the international rounds, we also are at a disadvantage because we do not get to see the arguments of other teams until we come for the international rounds, and that's when we actually see the other teams and their arguments, right? But for some other jurisdictions like Philippines, US, they have like very big national rounds, and they get to compete with quite a number of other teams, and they get to see their arguments and reflect on it, right? And they learn a lot. And when they come for the international rounds, they have already done quite a lot of other matches with other teams compared to us. So I think because of that, we are starting at a very disadvantageous position. But again, there's an advantage to it. We automatically get to come here because we're the national winner of it. Yeah.
We even had like friendly matches with Mongolia and
Dominican Republic. Yeah.
Was it only the two?
Yeah, so it was just Mongolia and Dominican Republic, but they had two teams from Dominican Republic.
Two different teams.
Yeah.
But again, this friendly matches are entirely held virtually.
Yeah.
So again, the experience is different and does not. Although you have a team to practice against, it does not suffice to that level of in-person mooting.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why we are at a disadvantaged position. Not trying to justify our weaknesses, but or excuses, but.
But despite all those setbacks, I feel like we did well. Like we were at par with other teams as well. Like
I think when we come for the international rounds, almost all the teams are equal. It's just that bits and pieces that the judges would have to grade, right? Because one team will have to win, another team will have to lose. So this it's only about like very very tiny little differences between the two teams, which either makes a team advance or not advance from the preliminary rounds.
Somebody said, "No, I need the team last time," so I think that applies.
Yeah, and I think when we come for the international rounds, although winning it's a glory in itself, but we do not come with the expectation that we're going to win the cup this year. Although we have to be ambitious, sometimes we have to also be practical, right? We just started our Jessup journey recently, and our law school is very small and new, fairly new law school. And this is our third time coming to DC for the competition in person. So, you know, we're there. We have started very strongly, and we are getting there. But it might take us some time, but we'll surely be there one day, and we hope that we'll advance to top 48.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
Or maybe even fast.
Yeah, maybe even fast.
Soon.
Yeah, but like I said, there are a lot of other factors which comes to play when you come for the international rounds, right? So it's not just you being competent enough and that you're doing your submissions, but also other factors, right? So what other factors do you think comes into play, whether you win or lose when you are doing the rounds here?
One thing would be being a native speaker.
You have an
English
advantage.
speaker. Yeah, because it just comes out naturally. But for us, because we usually think in Zonka, and it has to come out in English.
Translate.
Yeah, it's a bit hard coming out as fluently. Like although we do study a lot of our subjects in English, it's still not the same. Being a native English speaker and not being one. I think that.
What about you guys? What do you think?
I think one thing is, of course, the judges. So every judge has their own
Style.
Yeah, their own style, their own preference. So I've got like so many contradictory statements from judges as well. Some judges, they really liked my arguments, and other judges wanted me to change a few things. And when I changed those things, other judges didn't like it. So you never know with your judges as well. Sometimes you might be really lucky and you find judges that really like your way of arguing, and then they're all set with all your arguments, how concise you are, or either you're too concise, or maybe your script is too short, or maybe your script is too long. Maybe you're saying a lot of things that don't make sense, or maybe you're saying some things that do make sense, but not a lot. So it's always like maybe you're explaining the case, but maybe you shouldn't explain the case. Maybe you should just get to the point, or maybe you should elaborate on your arguments more. So you never know. And of course, it is like our duty as oralists to find out what the judge actually wants, and then through their questions. But it's not that easy in 22 minutes. So of course, it's subjective with each and every judge. So I think luck also plays a big factor, and the subjectivity of these judges.
Yeah, also okay, Sangi.
As Ajwa said, as a typical Bhutanese would like to believe, I think Wanta Nuta or luck also does play a role.
Yeah, so what kind of judges we get, it's solely upon our wants and wants.
So while it might not be the primary factor, it does act as a secondary factor. Even though you might be the best oralist, or you might be the best in your team, or as a whole, but on that particular day of submission, you might not feel well, and then your submission might not go well. So I think it also plays a role in determining your performance during that particular day.
Exactly. I want to go a little bit back to the initial stages. Even when we're drafting our memorials, I mean the sources that we have, the resources. We didn't even have access to Hughes Mundai. Like this was one. Did we? We didn't have, right? Yeah, because I couldn't get access to it. So yeah, so there were a lot of resources that weren't available to us as well.
You wanted to add something?
No, but yeah, in line with what Ajim said, I think the resources really do play a lot of part. Like, of course, we have access to the ICJ cases, but there's still a lot of other articles and papers.
Some books are not accessible online, so you have to pay them.
Yeah, like
and it's expensive to get access to these resources, especially when you are a team constrained with budget, and whether your whole travel to the international round is when it's tentative, you do not have much money to divert to like buy paid article
Yeah.
resources. So teams which are well funded, I think they definitely have an advantage because they don't have to worry about that aspect,
Yeah.
and they can just keep buying everything that they need and work on it. Whereas for us, like although for us we're lucky that the law school is funding this competition for us. The resources are limited, right? And we're also a state funded law school, so we do not have many money that we can live luxuriously. So we have to be very resourceful in terms of economical, in terms of how we use our limited resources. But having said that, from looking at the same issue from another angle, we are in a better position compared to other teams because
Very
for
lucky,
them. While talking to some of the other teams, they said that they're funding the whole trip by themselves. And for some, it's like a mixed modality whereby the law school might give you 30% and you chip in 70%, and that is very expensive, especially being law students, right? And having to come to DC all the way from Asia, South Asia especially, is not cheap. And
so
we are in a fairly
considerably luckier
luckier position compared to other teams, and thankful to our law schools, especially our dean, vice dean, management, our president, who truly believe in this competition and who believe that we should keep competing and keep improving, because this is one platform through which we are marking our presence at international stage, and where we are able to give exposure and experience to our students on an international level, which is unmatched, right? So very thankful to the law school,
very indebted to the law school.
and we hope that one day, especially the four of you, will be able to contribute back,
give back, of
to the
course.
law school, not necessarily in monetary sense, but in other sense as well. And like you said, so I also participated in Jessup in 2021, so I'm already giving back to the law school by coaching the team. Keeping that aside, but forever grateful to the law school for this opportunity, and I hope that we'll keep improving in the years to come.
Join Jessup.
Because like the Jessup experience itself, regardless of whether you advance or not, or whether you become the champions, it in itself is worth it. Like all the effort and hard work that you put in, it's ultimately for your own growth. I would say there was so much growth and learning. I feel like I've grown a lot as a person, but
In size or intellectually.
In size as well, we ate a lot.
We ate a lot through the winter prep.
But
If you're
actually
struggling
lost
to gain
weight.
weight, join Jessup.
Yes.
But you grow a lot intellectually, and even as a law student, public international law is one aspect that you really grow in. And me personally, I'm quite interested in international law, and this whole experience was very fun and exciting for me in that sense.
So basically, if you want to be part of something that's bigger than yourself, like literally or figuratively, you should join Jessup because you learn so much. I mean, you're a different person after Jessup.
I mean, exactly in line with what you guys said. You have invested 8 months of your life, if you think about it, right? And now, looking back, I think we have come a long way, right? So starting from almost like August, September, we started working on it, and for the month of December and January, we were on campus, very cold, working on a memorial while everyone were on vacation. Having fun. But I mean, this time will never come back. It might come back for some of you if you guys decide to participate, but the same experience is not going to be there, right, as a team. And like I think Norma touched upon it earlier, it's also about the people you work with, which makes your journey pleasant or unpleasant. And luckily, as a team advisor who has been closely working with the team, I think I have been fortunate enough that I did not have any troublemakers in the team. So so that really shifted a lot of burden on my shoulder, because I did not have to think about all the mess that you might create and all this having to worry in terms of what you might get into. So thankful to all four of you for being the good kids and very hardworking, very considerate and adaptable in terms of whatever I had to put you guys in. And sometimes I felt like there would have been a lot of lapses from my end as well, because I've also just started coaching the team, and I'm fairly a young faculty. I would like to believe I'm a young faculty member. So I know that I'm new. I'm also learning through this process. I learned a lot from you guys personally. So I just believe that maybe like in the years to come, I would have more experience, more wisdom, and I would be able to guide the team more, guide the team better than what I've been doing for the past 2 years.
But like, I think
Yeah.
we have to be like really grateful to
Sir.
Sir, because I think only
So pay me. What do you mean dollars?
sorry about that, I'm broke, but like seriously, I don't think any other team advisor or
yeah.
coach will be investing that amount of time in
yeah.
order to help the students. Now it's like a given that the students, us participating for Jessup, invests like 8 months.
Yeah.
But from an advisor, that would not really be expected by people, but Sir did it. Sir is that guy.
I should get an award for that. Just give me an award.
Honestly, speaking, like I don't think we would reach where we are if it wasn't for Sir, because
for the
Sir,
guidance.
yeah, exactly. Sir was there with us, like continuously, consistently for the past 8 months. So Sir also, like Sir wasn't even bound to stay with us in the moot prep, but then Sir was there, and then worked very hard. Was going through all the memorials, and yeah.
Wow.
If it wasn't
Each
for
and
Sir,
every
yeah.
line.
I did not pay
Wow.
them to say this on the spot. Just
You
for
did
that.
it actually.
I'm broke to pay anyone, so
But like other team advisors like from other universities, they said that their team advisors weren't like that.
Yeah,
So we've had a very great coach.
Yeah. Like I'm sure it's not expected of a team advisor to do that, but
Yeah. Also shout out to Professor Mark Wojcik and Professor is it Professor Louisa and
our friends,
Our friends,
with
yeah.
Hari.
and
Helped us a lot.
yeah.
Also, I
Much
think
guidance from all the people.
yeah, we have had quite a number of hiccups on this journey, especially in terms of our funding, firstly, and secondly, our travel.
And I
Which
think
was
all the
listed on the red
red-
category of visa
yeah,
ban
and like
in
all
the
the stress had
US.
to be taken out by
Sir.
Sir.
So
Yes, we were jokingly, I was jokingly telling them that I'm aging 10 times
Faster.
faster than my other colleagues in the law school because of all the stress. I mean, there were some point where I felt like maybe we may not be able to travel to DC for the international rounds because either because of the funding or because of the travel ban, which were beyond our control. And I personally really felt bad for you guys, because you guys have already invested a substantial amount of your time, effort, energy, right? And it would be a bummer if we couldn't come to DC for the international rounds. And I would have, unfortunately, we came to DC, we are in DC right now, but I would have taken it really hard on myself if in case we wouldn't have been able to come here for the international rounds, because till to the very end, like the travel ban was still there, and we were really worried how the border thing might work out, because we really prepared in terms of some of the questions that they might ask us, although we do not have anything that should be of concern to the US immigration and customs, but sometimes you never know at the border. So we have been very careful and prepared a lot, but when we came to the immigration here, we were asked the least amount of questions. So they just took our passport, checked the visa, and they just let us in, and we were really grateful for that, because we did not have to go through all the hassles that we thought maybe we might have to. So
Like even my friends and family, they were really worried. What about the travel ban? Everybody was calling me.
yeah, and also like by then, but when that travel ban rumors or information came about, we have already invested a substantial amount of money, the limited money that we have, and we already booked our air tickets, our accommodation. We had already our visa stamped on our passport, and I mean, all these resources that we have, like which are very limited, would have gone into vain. And like I said, circling back to my initial topic of how I would have felt bad if we wouldn't have been able to come, especially for the four of you who have really worked hard. Not saying that the teams in the previous years didn't work hard, they also equally worked hard, and I know that they worked hard because I was there with the team. But this year also, we really worked hard, and being able to go scriptless itself speaks volumes about the amount of work and effort that we have put in. So, but at the end, I think our it just brought us here, and we're grateful. Also, I think everything went well without any disruptions in terms of our health or anything. So grateful for all our chichon, suma.
Yeah, I guess all the well wishes and all the prayers that our friends and family and the people that back at college, even I think Tashuddin asked our friends during the morning assembly to pray for us, and you know, just all of these well wishes that we get from the people around us really does help, you know. I'm somebody who believes in this, and thank you everybody. Shout out. Shout out to everybody. Yeah.
Shout out to Lode Canada.
Why only Lodi and Kendra?
Okay.
He forgot some.
Added for me.
Yeah. So, how's the experience been so far living in an apartment, rented Airbnb apartment?
Smelly.
Actually, no, let's not go there.
These girls always get in the toilet at 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm in the toilet, and then they're like, I need to poop first. Then I let them go, and then they take turns, like they rotate among the three of themselves.
Oh my god,
wasn't
he's
me.
lying.
They always do the
Like,
same
really
thing.
wasn't me. For me, I always I always shower at 6:30 in the AM so that I don't disturb
In the
anybody.
AM,
AM in the morning, I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I even washed my face today in the kitchen basin because I didn't want to inconvenience you. Because you had to poop all the time.
Yeah, it's always you.
Yeah.
You're the
She's the
problem.
one, yeah.
if you get up early, then you get to use the bathroom. That's the rule, right? And then,
Exactly, I've been using it earlier than you did.
what? In the morning, you know what she said? I was in the toilet. I was
This
gonna
guy will
wash-
start another podcast on this topic, so we'll keep it at yeah.
But that's always our
From all the sightseeing that we have done so far, just if you have to choose one place,
Smithsonian
then
Museum.
just choose one. Okay.
Smithsonian
Tidal
Museum.
Air and Space Museum,
Yeah, yeah.
Lincoln Memorial.
Lincoln Memorial.
Tidal piece.
Why Lincoln Memorial?
Because it's like the place where Martin
King
Luther King,
Ah,
yeah, he gave his speech, I Have a Dream, and like I actually didn't know that he gave the speech there. It was Achnon who told me that. I confirmed it, and yeah, it was true. And we actually
Forrest Gump.
saw the place, and that speech has, I think, a huge impact on everybody. And to be there at the exact location of where that speech was given, I think was a huge.
She
experience.
cried.
Wow.
I did
She
not.
got very emotional. She cried.
Okay, I did not, but okay.
Why Smithsonian?
So I love sci-fi. Oh my god.
Aren't you a humanities student?
Yeah, because I suck at science, so but I love sci-fi. So the Smithsonian Museum had a lot of things to do with science. I mean, basically about the space
Yeah.
and the planets and meteors and all the comets. So it was very exciting for me. So yeah, I enjoyed Smithsonian Museum.
I'm sorry, like I feel like I'm talking the most here, but to add on about the museum, I really enjoyed going to the museum because it had certain sections about women, especially like who were the first women to do this and that.
Earhart.
Yeah,
Amelia
Earhart.
Earhart.
Yeah.
First
yeah.
woman to fly across the Pacific
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
Atlantic. I forgot.
And then she got lost and died. Okay.
Yes.
Why
It
would
took
you-
a dark turn. What about Sangeet? Why did you like that for both of you? Cherry Blossom, why?
So firstly, it was very pretty,
Mhm.
very beautiful, and for the very first time, I got very good pictures of myself, I would say.
Who
And-
were the ones who took the picture?
Yeah, shout out to Ditches. Then also got to experience any double country standards on this. So I was here in the US, tidal basin, but picture upload day charo. My friends also told me Japan here some Tom
Oh,
so
okay.
2 countries from
Yeah, Japan
yeah.
dressed up both.
No.
So same thing. I think like I really want to visit Japan, and then like the cherry blossoms, and then Sir told me that Japan had actually gifted them these seeds
Mhm.
back in the early 1900s or the 1800s, and then they had planted them all around that area. So it was really nice to see something that took so long, like come to fruition, or to like their efforts that they had put in, like actually amount to something that beautiful.
Wow.
So then it reminded me of Japan as well, and then like it looked actually like those cherry trees. That
But you
see.
guys haven't been to Japan. How would that remind you?
But those anime I watched, the anime and
Last
the
10
movies I
years
watched,
looking
yes. So I think like it reminded me of the animes and like all these. You can see like when these high schoolers start their schooling, like they go in the spring and then you can see these cherry trees and stuff like that. So it really reminded me of the animes I watched and like Japan in itself. So it was really pretty. And the museum was also actually really nice because there were a lot of airplanes flying around, not flying around, but hanging around.
It would be crazy if the airplanes were flying around in that museum.
Even in that museum, and we got to, there were like 2 big screens, and it was like 3D, and we got to experience
The
the
universe.
sounds, the
Yeah.
sounds, and how it actually feels like landing onto different planets. It was amazing. I don't think like 13-year-old Shinsan would have ever imagined that she would be in Washington, going to such museums, and even doing the Jessup. I think.
But this is just the
Inner
big.
child
This
is
is just the beginning, right? And I'm saying this really from my heart. I really believe that you guys have a long way to go. A lot of good, better, equivalent opportunities in the years to come because you guys really have the potential. One example, Pimachuki is already working with White and Kids as an intern in the Singapore office, which is very impressive, right? And this is just the beginning. And Sange earlier talked about how this was her first time flying outside the country, and I really hope that this is going to be the first of many more flights to come, and all for pleasant and good reasons, right? Which was the least? Which one was the least favorite then from the?
Places?
I don't think I have the least favorite.
Hi.
Stop. Pentagon City because I spent so much there. I want my money.
I think Pimachuki did the most shopping.
Yeah.
Apparently, their Forever 21 shop is going bankrupt. It's closing down. So they have like 40 to 70% discount. And Pimachuki did a lot of shopping from
Pimachuki should be the brand
Forever
ambassador.
21.
Yeah, please send me
Sponsor
free
her.
goods.
How are they going to sponsor their when bankrupt?
The PR package.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what should we talk about now? So on like 2 days from now we are going to New York. So we have 3 nights, around 3 to 4 nights in New York, and a lot of itineraries planned. And one of the most exciting, especially for them, would be the official tour of the United Nations headquarters in New York, which is facilitated by the Permanent Mission of Bhutan. So we're grateful for that opportunity, and we're really looking forward to it. I had been there last year, but they haven't been.
I'm very excited about that
Because we have always talked about Security Council, General Assembly, and all the organs. And
Yeah, we did a
you
lot of
get
simulations,
Yes.
class simulations.
In,
So.
in international law, also we do the
Simulations.
simulations of
Yeah.
GA, and I personally did the Model United Nations when I was in high school, so I really want to like go to that actual place where that
Yeah.
actual thing actually
Comes
happens.
where all the decisions take place,
Yeah.
which are of international importance, right?
And Statue of Liberty,
Yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna do a dance, right?
Times Square.
Oh my gosh,
Like
I'm
Dupaw,
going to do
coming
it.
for you.
Yeah, I
I'm
wish
going
I
to
could
do a
do
TikTok
that.
dance in
Kimmy,
Times
Kimmy.
Square. In New
New
York.
York, yeah, we're gonna do that.
In New York. I've practiced that.
Okay, maybe like let's wrap up the
Yeah.
podcast so that it does not become too bulky.
My message.
Okay, I'll ask 2 questions to each of you. Firstly, a message, like Gong said, to any aspiring Jessuppers. And secondly, a takeaway or a life lesson equivalent to that from the whole Jessup journey. So maybe like take 3 seconds to think about it. 3, 2, 1.
I
Who
think
goes
I'll
first?
answer first because I'm getting a bit tired.
He's old. Himashuki said that he looks the oldest in his class. Tachimo.
I was joking.
You should have been joking.
You shouldn't joke about people's
joking.
age. And they were also joking about his name.
Yeah.
So actually, that's this one. So like there was this one
let's not name anyone.
Not foreigner, a US native who asked his name, and he was like, I'm Ngawang, but then that person was like, oh.
And awa, if you are not a Bhutanese, is what?
Poop in,
Shit.
It means your poop.
It's better
Yeah.
if he says that.
or you might get demonetized. Don't say that.
I'm not monetized.
So that was very funny.
Yeah, okay, let's get back to lesson and advice.
So for aspiring Jessuppers, I'd say if you're not in the Jessup yet, and then if you haven't been selected, then of course
Try harder.
try harder, try your best, and then don't be. If you just do your best, I don't think you like regret any of the decisions you've made, or any even if you don't make it into Jessup. But I feel like just try again and again. Don't be complacent. Try improving upon your arguments. Take in other people's comments. Have an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're in Jessup, also you have to do the same thing. But in Jessup, as said before, you might feel really incompetent. So it's always like that. It's the same for everyone. Don't think that you are the person that's suffering the most from this problem. You are the person having the most the weirdest arguments. Even if you have a basic argument and it makes sense, it's a valid, good argument under international law. Of course, you have to act in accordance with law, but don't feel too bad about yourself. Don't push yourselves. Push yourself, of course. Push yourselves really hard.
Literally don't push yourself.
But don't beat yourself down. Don't always think, okay, I can't do this. Always have that positive mindset, and at the end of it, just enjoy it. Like the judges say, actually enjoy it, because you think you won't enjoy it, but when you're actually up there in front of the judges, you start to enjoy it. You feel excited. You want to rebut what the opposing counsel has said. So then it's a weird experience. You think of it in one way, but you expect something else, and the outcome's always different. The one thing I take away from Jessup is in itself, I think it is that it's not always how you expect it to be. Of course, I expected my Jessup at the start. I was a bit scared. Okay, how am I gonna go? Sir was like, we're gonna go off script. So no script. You can't take no paper with you or anything. All you have is to conversate with the judges. So at that point, I was really scared because I had 2 submissions, right? In intramural, we only have one submission on one particular issue, but then now I have to tackle 2 issues by myself, and I have to go off script for that and provide all the evidence and thing from all of it through the back of my head.
And you have to talk for 22 minutes compared to 10 minutes in intramural mode.
Yeah.
So that was very, very frightening, and then so you don't think you can do it, but at the end of it, when you do it, you feel
It's doable.
why did you think it was that hard? It wasn't impossible. It wasn't flying. So one last message, of course, it's always different from what you expect. So never think of yourself as too low or too incompetent. And one last thing is reach for the stars with your feet planted on the ground.
Yeah, I
That's
was thinking
what I
about the
would
same thing.
Copying me, man. Look, I just said something.
I was
really
thinking about that, but yeah.
What about Sanjay?
So my message to the future Jessuppers.
Sanjay is woman of few words, so she does not speak too much.
So I acknowledge that I'm the least expressive in the group, I must say. But my my message to the future Jessuppers or those who aspire to join Jessup would be to try harder. I'll say if I can do it, you can do it. So to tie it back to my experience. So one thing that I thought when I joined JSW School of Law was I knew about Jessup, and I thought to myself that if I did not join Jessup once, it would be the biggest regret in my life. But there's no regret now because I joined Jessup. So I would also say that if you want to join Jessup, you have to. You have to act on your thought, and then it would be worth it, as we discussed earlier. And could you let me do? And to give a little context again, after the announcement party, all of us were feeling a little down. So that's when Dechen also said that she was feeling a little sad about the result, how the result turned out. So I said that Lani go. So it's not always about the result, or it's not always about whether we
Absolutely.
win. So if we think we are we're good, there's someone better than us, so we have to accept that and move on. And also, it is, as I said, not always about the result, it's about the progress that we made. So there will be teams that will be better than us, so it's the progress that we make each year, and you might just be the one who will take back the Jessup Cup for your university or for your country. So I would highly suggest that you join Jessup for eye-opening experiences and knowledge. And one key lesson, takeaway from Jessup for me would be to have patience. So Jessup was not something that we could wrap up in a few days or few weeks. It took us about 8 months. So I had the dates jotted down in my notepad. It said 9th September, so we officially started from 9th September and came all the way
Is
here.
9th September like 3 Idiots kitty?
Oh, it's
It's
September.
September.
Oh,
So I
okay.
had the
We should have started on 5th September.
9th September. We came from September up until April. So it's about 8 months. So it took a lot of took a lot of time for us to get where we are. So I think patience equals growth. So if I acted on my impulsive thought and given up from the very starting, I would have been that old Sangye.
I wouldn't have allowed that. You cannot even think about that.
So before joining Jessup, so I think that if you are patient enough, you will grow, you will learn personally, and then professionally. So
Intellectually.
intellectually, there's more. The list goes on.
Emotionally, socially.
Yeah. All of this, yeah.
So I would say that I would highly recommend and suggest everyone who aspires to join Jessup to do that.
This is your sign to sign up for
Sign
up for
Jessup 2026.
Next year.
Next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, and
See
you
you
actually
there.
reminded, like Sandy reminded me, like last year, I had the opportunity to join Jessup, but I didn't because I thought.
You had plus, remember, you had the opportunity to do the intramural to get into Jessup.
Okay, but it's like it would have led to Jessup if I would.
Wow, look at it.
No, I'm just saying.
Confident.
Confidence should be like
I'm just saying I had the opportunity to do the
Because
intramural,
he was eligible to participate
Yeah.
for the intramural
Yeah.
also. Yeah.
but I didn't even do that because at that time, of course, I didn't have a partner then, and then Sir has changed. Yeah.
Partner as in mood partner. He has a partner, but he doesn't have a mood partner.
So at that time I couldn't do it, but because of Sir changed the rules and like he assigned these teams so that any individual could join and they'd be randomly assigned to these teams. So it made it like more fair and more.
Yep.
It was like very good for everyone because then it like.
You don't have to worry about
Participants
getting a partner.
Partner, yeah.
So then it was like a really good improvement. But although yes, last year I could have taken the initiative and maybe find a senior who wanted to do the moot with me. But I didn't.
You would have.
Yeah, but of course, like I didn't do that, and then I regretted my decision. So that's why I joined this year, and now I don't regret my decision.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yes, join Jessup.
Join
What
Jessup.
about you guys?
So-
Advice for them and a life lesson that you take away from this
Okay.
competition.
So before I get on to the advice, so personally,
I'm in no position to advise them.
personally
Be
when
modest.
I joined the law school, I think Jessup was very fairly new that time, and it was Sir Lecky and all who joined. So and then I saw that a lot of seniors who were very smart and who did well in college were joining the Jessup.
All the smart people join Jessup.
Yeah.
Aside from someone.
Well,
Just
the
kidding.
thing- Yeah. So when it was.
I want to
Clarify.
clarify. I don't want to be attacked by people.
No hit comments, please.
Yeah.
When I was actually eligible to join Jessup, I think it was the same time when Nawang was also eligible to join Jessup. We had to find
Thanks.
partners.
So, yeah, fourth, third
Yeah,
year.
but we had to find partners. But then I wasn't confident enough to join during that time, and plus I also didn't have a partner. And secondly, I thought I'd never make it to the team, and I didn't feel a little bit confident, or I didn't feel like I was up for it. But then I thought that when I was in my final year, I should at least give a try for the intramural, because it would go in vain. Like I wouldn't even have done any moods. So this is why I signed up for the intramural, and thankfully also made it to the team. So it just goes on to show that you have to have faith in yourself and be confident about yourself, because you can do it. And advice that I'd give to future Jessuppers is
And
be
before you do
resilient.
that, she participated in 2 moot court competitions in her final year.
Yeah.
Jessup and the Deepak Mishra
Mishra,
regional
yeah.
moot court competition.
Yeah, so the thing is, even if you're in your final year or your 4th year, it's not too late for you. Because, yeah, I did not do anything. Like
If you
any
can start
moot-
early, you would recommend them to
Yes.
start early.
Yeah.
I don't want advice to go wrong.
Yeah.
Don't
So
miss.
if you can start early, you should start early. But if you were like me, like if you weren't confident enough, or if you didn't believe in yourself, it's time to believe in yourself and do it. Because I did 2 moot courts in my final year. Because if like it's doable, it's possible. Just be resilient, be hardworking. Even if you fail, you climb up and do well. That's it. Okay, key takeaway is, as I've said, I think the key to doing Jessup is to be resilient and also honor all the friendships and all the bonds that you form with your team, because at the end of the day you really have to work with them, work hard with them. So form friendships, forge friendships, and Jessup is just more than the competition, it's all the experiences that you see. So please sign up for Jessup and do it. It's Jessup in itself is like, I think it should be a semester, honestly. It's a wonderful experience that you get
Course.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a course. I think it should be like a 2-semester course. Yeah.
Okay, for me, I think something that I would say to future Jessuppers is just do it. Just do it. Like, for me, when I first joined the law school in my first year, the first semester basically, intramurals were going on, and I just went there just to see what all these mooting stuffs were, and then when I went there, I was quite impressed and I was quite inspired, and that led me to joining the first year moot court that happened after my first semester, and I had a really great experience with my first year moot court. So I was like, now I'll try.
You won the moot court
Yeah,
competition.
she won
first
the
year moot
winner
court.
first year. She's the winner of the first
Yeah,
year.
she's the
Luckily,
winner.
Luckily I won. But yeah, I really had a very huge learning experience through that. And after that, I was waiting for this
Intramural.
second intramural to come up so that I could participate. And luckily, through that, I got selected for Jessup. So
And
one
she's
thing-
the youngest one on the team.
yeah, and
She's the oldest.
She's the oldest.
He looked the oldest.
but yeah, like I feel like the best thing that my past self did was just trying everything like that came along my way, like just trying the first year moot court, just trying the intramural, because there's no harm in trying. I really think, like, even if you do not get selected for Jessup the first time you try, there's always a second or a third time, and once you will. And
But no, not more than 5 times.
yeah, but like, I feel like if you do it with all your passion and if you really put in that effort, then you will get selected. So my advice for future Jessuppers would be just to do it. And my
We are not
second-
promoting Nike though.
Just
Just do
it.
it.
Just do it. But yeah, and
Or
I
maybe
really-
Nike should sponsor us. We have been
Yeah.
saying just do it
Do it.
like several times.
But I think Nike is really true about just doing it.
Just do it. Yeah.
And second is that, like Achunalam also pointed out, having that confidence, even Ajim Pema also touched on it, having confidence in yourself. Confidence is really key, and having a very good self-esteem that you can do it is something that is really important, because I think I personally struggled a bit with my own confidence, and I had I cried about it. Remember?
You can't remember
I cried.
We lost memory. We can't remember.
So I even
What
like
happens in Rome stays in Rome. So we don't talk about it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's really important. But Jessup really helps you build confidence, and that's what I experienced. So one key takeaway is that, and other key takeaway is that you should be that I felt like being open to learning itself is a huge step that you can take into growth, and having a growth mindset is really important. I think I'm a huge
Grower.
Literally, figuratively.
Yeah, I think I'm a huge advocate for growth mindset actually, and I feel like having that mindset really helps you to grow because
The constant learning.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
always
And
constant
learning.
learning.
Yeah.
And it's like being open to learning from your teammates because all of them are my seniors and they really do know a lot about everything. Really helped me to learn more, and keeping your ego beside and learning, being open to learn is a key takeaway for me. Yeah, I think
Learning public international
just Jessup in one word would be growth for me.
growth. Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, I think Pema and Dichen have different experience because they're on the two sides of the spectrum. Pema, as she already explained,
Yeah.
she will soon graduate and she did
Yeah.
Jessup in her final year,
Yeah.
whereas Dichen is the youngest one and she did Jessup in her second year, right? So the experiences that they had are different, although there are a lot of similar experiences, right?
Yeah.
So for her, it's growth. What is one word that you would associate Jessup with?
As I said earlier, it would also be growth and
No, you cannot talk.
patience.
Patience,
No
okay.
plagiarism.
No.
here.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Faith.
Faith.
Mm.
But
Wow.
yeah, faith
Very,
is
very
a-
different words from everyone.
For sure. One word.
I think
Stress.
it really, yes, stress could be one. Stress. I think it really depends every year. So for this year, maybe the word that I would associate with is resilience. I
Yeah.
think despite like you already talked earlier, despite a lot of hiccups in
Yeah.
between, we stood resilient.
Endurance.
Yeah, it took.
Wow.
So we endured a lot of hiccups in between. So maybe resilient is the word. But
Yep.
just to wrap up the podcast so that it does not get too long, I think it might sound too cliche to say that it's not the destination, but it's the journey that
Journey,
really
yeah.
matters. So, like Sangi said, when we actually started working in September last year, 2024, it seemed really long for me
Yeah.
to even think about going to DC in April.
Yeah.
It was a long journey,
Yeah.
but we made it.
Yeah.
And we made it with all our hard work, all our effort, energy, and we did it beautifully. And I'm not saying this because of the outcome that we have achieved, right? We do not even know the ranking of our team right now, but I think regardless and irrespective of the outcome, I think it's the hard work that we have put in. And spending 8 months with this mood problem and as a team, it takes a great deal to be able to endure this long, right? And it's not an easy job. If it was easy, everyone would have done it, right? So
Yeah.
it's difficult. There were times, I know you guys, like Sangi said earlier a bit about it, you might have thought, why am I even doing this? Is it even worth it? You know, you are sacrificing, compromising a lot of your personal time. The time that you spend with your family, with your loved ones, you have to spend with your memorial, with the team,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not. When I say there is a practice round, you have to wake up at 1
Yeah.
a.m. in the morning or 7 a.m. in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And these are all sacrifices, right? And when your friends are watching Netflix, chilling,
We're going out.
going out,
Yeah.
Partying, you're there, trapped
When you're meeting your
in your room.
parents.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you're going for vacation, you're there. But at the end, I would definitely say that
They did
this will add immense value to you as a law student, and once you graduate from law student as a lawyer as well, people will look at you. I think people have already started looking at you guys differently because you have done Jessup,
Yeah.
and that will definitely add value once you graduate.
Yeah.
When you say that you have done Jessup, because people actually understand where the Jessup standard is, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there were a lot of stress. I see sometimes breakdown, you know, a lot of happy moment, a lot of stressful moment, painful moments as a team, as an individual. But we made it here, and
We made it
so
to the
proud of
podcast.
each and every one of you, and also myself
Yes,
for
sir.
having done our absolute best. And again, coming back, the gratitude thing, really thankful to the management, especially our dean and our vice dean, our president, for believing in this cause and for helping us gather all these resources that we needed. And it's only because of their support and their guidance and their trust in us that we have been able to come here. So we are really thankful to the law school for this opportunity. Yeah.
Very grateful.
Yeah, for making this possible.
Yeah, because I don't think I'll be without the help of all Sir mentioned, without the help of everybody who was in a part of this journey. I don't think I would be here. I don't think. We
wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Law school has made so many things possible for me
Us.
personally and for all of us. So
Immense
genuinely,
gratitude.
very, very grateful.
Yeah, I think that's the outro for the podcast. So anything that you guys want to add that we did not talk about? I think we pretty much talked about everything that we could, except for the New York trip, which we cannot talk right now because we haven't traveled to New York yet. Yeah, but I think just to end in one sentence, I think we should all pat ourselves on our shoulder for, let's do it literally.
Job well done.
Well done.
I know it has been difficult, especially like Sange mentioned earlier, when the announcement, although you do not have much expectations, there's always a little light of hope, right? Like, oh my god, maybe.
Hope for me was like, I don't know, I put so much hard work in the past 8 months and it's just ending like this.
For me, like, I did not.
No, but like generally, I think all of us we were very sad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
of
it was
course,
like adding salt to the wound because the team next to me was
Advancing,
getting
yeah.
advancing. The one in the front was getting, everyone was getting advanced.
Like,
Except
everybody
for
was-
us,
Yeah, I mean, like for me, because I know the standard of Jessup and we did really well, but sometimes you have to be practical enough, right? I thought I did not have many expectations, but I thought maybe because this time we talked earlier, I felt like we did really well and we were up to that standard. But when we did not, everyone was disheartened, disappointed. But at the same time, life should go on, right?
Life gives you tantrums.
Yeah, when life gives you tangerines.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think you guys will now realize after we are actually back to Bhutan on April 13th, and in the subsequent days, you will feel like a voidness in you because so far you have been dealing with just
Like you've been eating, breathing,
Yes.
living just us.
and suddenly like you have much more time
Oh my
to
God.
talk to your friends, your family, go around, sleep, eat, right? And you'll be like, something is missing out in your life. So.
But like for me, although I was like very sad that we couldn't advance to it, like I'm really looking forward to the championship match that will happen tomorrow and see how they argue. And even I feel like even when I go back to Bhutan, I will still be exploring about the law of the sea and the legitimacy of governments, all the issues. I feel like I would still be researching upon it because most of them are interesting to say.
Actually, the
everything.
United Nations General Assembly, they're still working on like the issues of immunity
Immunity,
right now.
yeah.
So I'd like to see where it actually leads
I
because
hope they.
some exceptions to immunity and then like the arguments from both sides are equally convincing. So I'm really interested to see how like the GA actually decides.
Yeah.
Even about that recognition in international law, it's still a very debatable topic. So I'm really looking forward to how all of these grew and
80th session of the UNGA, here we come.
But let's end the podcast here. Like you said in the beginning, this was very spontaneous. Actually, we just got back from World Bank. We went there for a tour. We just got back. We just settled down. We just pulled up our camera stand and we just put our phone there and we just started yapping. But in a resourceful and professional manner. So thank you for sticking with us if you're still watching. And we hope that there's at least something that you learn from our conversation today. And let's see how let's see how it goes in terms of whether we come next year or not. I'm hopeful that we might be able to have a team for next year. And if we do come, we'll definitely come stronger and better. So thank you so much. I think that's it, right?
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.